The base is with Donald Trump. In fact, it is true. His numbers among Republicans continue to rise. They couldn't go up much higher because they're so good already. But the base is with Trump, regardless of whatever is roiling or, boiling in the political seas out there. You can't deny his numbers among his voters, his Republican voters, are higher than they've ever been.
So we've achieved incredible things in a very short period of time. And in polling released just last week, it was announced that the approval for congressional Democrats under Hakeem Jeffries has reached the lowest ever recorded, 19%. And Republicans are doing well. And I have the best numbers I've ever had. You know, it's amazing. I watch people on television. Well, what about Donald Trump's polling numbers? Yeah, they're the best numbers I've ever had. And with this made-up hoax that they're talking about, my numbers have gone up 4 and 5 points. They want to do anything to get us off the subject of making America great again, and we're not going to put up with it.
Well, that's one way to put it. You've heard the claim from one of MAGA's most loyal foot soldiers, Scott Jennings, and from the man himself. Now let's see how things stand up to scrutiny.
And the USS Donald Trump is taking on a lot of water. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating. Look, he started off back in January +6 points on the net approval rating, -3 in March, -7 in May, and now he's at a term too low at -11 points. His net approval rating has dropped nearly 20 points in the aggregate since the beginning of his presidency. The American people do not like what they're seeing. -5 points in immigration, his best issue. He's underwater. How about the economy? That was what he was elected for. -14 points. How about foreign policy? -14 points. How about trade and those tariff wars? -15 points. And, of course, the Epstein case, the lowest of the bunch, -37 points on every single issue. Donald Trump is below water on all the major ones.
Well, would you look at that? Now, to be clear, this is just one poll, a small sample size of how the American public feels, but the results are still damning nonetheless. And we still have years of this ahead of us. Honestly, this didn't come out of nowhere. Since Trump officially took office, his policies have been defined by cruelty and self-interest. Immigration crackdown ramped up, family separation stripped key protections. His tariff policies raised prices on working families. Then came the BBB law, where they slashed public benefits just to hand another massive tax break to the wealthy. He struck Iran without congressional approval, and he's continued to align with hardline Israeli leadership during a time of escalating violence and mass displacement in Gaza. It's a legacy he's built, and Americans are the ones feeling it.
There is one other presidency that has a lower net approval rating at this point than this one. The bad news is that it was Donald Trump's other presidency, his first presidency, net approval rating 6 months in. The worst was in 2017. Donald Trump was 16 points underwater. The second worst, however, is this Donald Trump presidency, 11 points underwater. Disaster, terrible, awful, horrible. I think that is the way that the American people would see it at this particular point.
I expected numbers like that. It's exactly what happens when you stop governing for the people. Republican officials don't feel accountable to anyone outside their donor class. They're not interested in policy solutions, just protecting power, and that's why their own base is suffering. These officials have nothing to offer but distraction, division, more handouts to the rich. The damage is visible, and now it's showing up in the polls. It's the same act every time. Change the headline, flood the zone with nonsense, pretend it's all going great, but we know what this is. Regardless of whatever Trump's allies in the media are saying on national outlets, just know that this is what they're really trying to do, distract the voter base.
This is from 6 years later in 1999. This video has never been seen before in this context. It shows Trump talking to Jeffrey Epstein just before models hit the runway at the Victoria's Secret fashion show in New York in 1999. You know, the only other video we've seen of the two men was 7 years before this. Trump is at the show with Melania.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that.
She calls it the most egregious weaponization and politicization of intelligence in American history. You got a quick thought on that, Speaker Johnson? It's a heck of a thing.
It is a heck of a thing. We knew it intuitively that was happening throughout the whole first Trump administration. I was on the House Judiciary Committee. We had oversight responsibility over a lot of that, and we uncovered a lot of stones and a lot of corruption. But wow, to have the Director of National Intelligence come out with the records that she has is a blockbuster.
Well, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Pam Bondi told Donald Trump back in May that his name appeared in the Epstein investigation files. So let's talk about timing. Trump's team has known for months, and now that the information is going public, they're scrambling. Kellyanne's spinning, Tulsi's out throwing smears, Mike Johnson is dodging reporters. It's coordinated, it's desperate, it's obvious. They're hoping voters will look away just long enough for the headlines to fade. But this story and the facts behind it, not going anywhere.